it. We're excited and look forward to spending time, these next hours with all of you. I will be serving as your co-host for today's program with Bryant, who will introduce himself shortly. And today's program really wants to focus on drawing from the experiences of our American Indian faculty, staff, students, and alumni. We also have prepared a team building activity to interact and to get to know each other better. So we're really excited for today's program, which will also be recorded to allow members of the community who were not able to attend today to be able to watch this program later. I know especially there would be a lot of students who would might not be able to make it to the panel, but would love to hear from it. So we're going to be sharing this event with all the other students. And I'll pass it over to Brian now.
Yeah, so as Stephanie mentioned, as I mentioned earlier, my name is Brian Martinez. I'm a senior at California State University, Northridge. And my pronouns are he, him, his. So today we're going to start today's program by honoring our land. And with that, we have the pleasure of introducing Mark Villasenor with us. He's a member of the Fernandino Tatavian Board of Mission Indians, who will lead our acknowledgement followed by performance. Mark is an active and determined member of his community, both culturally and politically, and has been engaged leader and citizen of the Fernandino Tatavian Band of Mission Indians, a sovereign tribe of Los Angeles County. He's a descendant of lineages of Taupo Canyon, Ganga, the village at Encino, and the Chaguayanga, a village in Santa Clarita Valley. I'll refer to Stephanie again. She has a little bit more to say about our program.
Yes. As a current tribal vice president for his tribe, Mark collaborates with federal, state, and local municipalities, as well as other sovereign nations in efforts to better his tribe. He engages in a lot of civic activity and responsibility and has been active in city-sponsored initiatives. In addition, for advocating for his tribal community, Villasenor supports other city residents as well. He's often called upon by his alma mater, CSU Northridge, CSUN. I know ASA has reached out to him as well, as he is an alumni of both CSUN and ASA. And he helps support our programs and community-based organizations. And he also provides services to the broader local community here in the San Fernando Valley. And to better accomplish his financial, political, and cultural objectives for his tribal community, he graduated with a BS in Business Administration, and he focused in global supply chain management from CSUN. So we're very proud to have Mark come back and be able to give back to his CSUN community. So with that being said, welcome, Mark.
Hello, thank you for that that great introduction. Like they had said, I'm Mark Villasenor, and I just want to thank you for the opportunity coming and participating in this. I know for quite some time we've had a lot of interaction between CSUN and specifically the American Indian Studies Department, but we're looking to expand that moving forward. So just, I want to thank you for acknowledging, one, the Sesavitam, which is the people that are the closest people to Cal State Northridge. These are lineages that incorporate, which make up and constitute the entirety of the Fernandino Tatavian Band of Mission Indians. There's 26 lineages that are 26 lineages that we descend from that make up the current Fernandino Tatavian Band of Mission Indians. Some of these lineages go from Sini Valley, downtown Los Angeles, the village of Yangna, going all the way up to Santa Clarita Valley and then Antelope Valleys as well. And once again, I'd like to thank you for allowing me to participate. And I know with some of the people on here I've known for a very long time, such as Professor Andrews has been, a very staunch advocate for AIS and acknowledging, the indigenous peoples of the area. And secondly, also Raven Freebird, who's been, helped me out a lot in trying to give back and contribute to one ASA and Cal State Northridge in the greater whole. So I'd like to sing a song in our ways. It's a welcome song. It's designed to, welcome everybody into our traditional homeland or the village that you're entering. So I'm gonna do that now. Pako kimma pako kimma pako kimma mena kimma pako kimma pako kimma pako kimma mena kimma pako kimma pako kimma And then just to expose some other people, I'm going to sing a Kuya bird song that's in a style of, a song that travels all along California, which many tribes sing. Isa, 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 ale tamale patona Isa, ale tamale patona Isa, 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 ale tamale patona Isa, ale tamale patona Isa, 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 Isa. Isa, ale tamale patona Isa, ale tamale patona Isa, 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 ale tamale patona Isa, ale tamale patona Isa, 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 Isa. Isa, ale tamale patona Isa, ale tamale patona Isa. Yeah. These are some of the traditional songs that we sing. The first one being a welcome song that welcomes everybody in, and second is a song that we sing at community gatherings and events to help show our culture and how it's alive and thriving. And once again, I'd like to thank you for allowing me to participate, and I hope this happens and turns out to be a great event, which I'm pretty sure it will be. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mark, for that wonderful performance and for getting us started with today's welcome back ceremony. We really appreciate it, and it was really enlightening to hear you perform this. So we're so fortunate today to be in the midst of members of the Fernando Tavian Band of Mission Indians, including our keynote speaker for today, Alan Spirit Hawk Salazar, who is a council member on the Elders Council for the Fernando Tavian Band of Mission Indians, drawing on nearly 20 years of professional experience as a preschool teacher, a counselor, an institutional officer in the juvenile justice system. Alan is an educator, traditional storyteller, and spiritual advisor of the Chumash and Tatvian descendants. Let's welcome Alan.
Is he here? Is Alan here?
It seems that Alan may not be here today.
He's trying to get on. I had to send him the info, but I don't know.
Well,
yeah, apparently he's having some big technical issues, so he's not going to be able to make it for this.
Okay. Well, then, with that in mind, I think it's important that we do remember that in these days and times, it is difficult to accommodate to these new situations that we're living in. So although we may not all be here, we're all here in spirit and we're all here in mind. So it's something that, even though these technological issues may arise, it's important that we always acknowledge the people that are trying to make an effort to be here and support our communities. So nonetheless, we want to send out a prayer and a shout out to our boy Alan, doo-doo-doo, and all that good stuff, you know. But we really appreciate all the efforts for everyone being here and all you for making the time to come out. I know that today we look outside and the skies are dark, but as we continue, you know, this journey of life, you know, the skies will brighten and all that good stuff.
Right. Alan is here. I just
Awesome.
submitted him.
Awesome. Well, in that case, as Alan accommodates himself to the Zoom meeting, I will continue for a second. But yes, with that in mind, thank you so much for being here, Alan. Thank you for taking the time to help us out with this event today. And without further ado, here's Alan Spirit Hawk Salazar.
I'm not the one, Alan Salazar. Hello, everyone. I'm Alan Salazar. I'm on the Elders Council with the Fernandino Tataviam Band of Mission Indians. And it's an honor to be here to welcome all the students in these trying times. I apologize for being late. Passwords and typing with 2 fingers is probably not the most efficient way to get into a Zoom meeting. I was speaking yesterday with an ethnic studies class at Channel Islands, and I touched a lot on the struggles of tribal people in California. And as we all know, it's a dark history. And to be involved with CSUN shine some light on those issues. I encourage all the students to learn more about California tribal history. And the land that you're walking on is Fernandino Tataviam land. We never sold it. We never gave it away. It was stolen from us. So as you walk on campus, as you're online, we ask that you acknowledge our ancestors and that we're still here carrying on our culture, trying to bring back our language, trying to bring back our tribal way, our religion, our way of life. So I want to send out blessings to all the students. Thank you for allowing me to share a few words and continue the good work that you're doing. And to all the young men, I'll close with something unscripted. I encourage all the young men at CSUN, take a child development class, but wait until this pandemic is over so you actually go into a live class. Because I can guarantee you right now today, in every child development class at CSUN, there's approximately 25 young women and 3 or 4 young men. You can't beat those odds, gentlemen. And plus, it'll make you a better man. So keep an eye on everyone. Blessings to all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Salazar, for sharing your wisdom with us. And it is definitely important for us students to remember, you know, when we are on campus or even virtually, the land that it is on. And I'm thankful for your words, and also for the Tataviam tribe for always educating us and coming and giving workshops to ASA. Personally, I grew up in the San Fernando Valley all my life, and I didn't know about the originators of this land until I went to CSUN. So I'm very thankful to have learned and always try to share that knowledge with everybody. So with that being said, I'm not sure if Outdoor Adventures is here yet, but we will be having our team building activity. So let's see. Yes, they are here. Awesome. So now we invite Chris Whiteside and our Associated Students Outdoor Adventures team to lead us in a guided activity.
Great. Hello, everyone. My name is Tim Shapansky, and it is a pleasure for me to be here today to work with you. My coworker, Chris, will be working with you also. What we're going to do today is we're going to break into 2 smaller groups and hop into some breakout rooms and get a chance to get to know a little bit more about each other. This will just be through some good, fun questions that hopefully we'll giggle and laugh at each other a little bit about some of what's going to take place. And then we're going to come back here for a little bit, and then we're just going to work together as a team to try to accomplish a goal. Throughout our time with you today, we want to have fun, we want to have a good time, but everything that we are going to do today will have a learning component to it. So what we will do is at the end of our activity today, we're going to spend a little bit time processing the stuff that we learned today. So while we have fun, remember, we are still learning and doing some stuff that will hopefully better ourselves and our community around us. So I'm wondering if we can get maybe Freddie to pop us into 2 separate breakout rooms. And once we get in there, we'll kind of tell you what we're going to do.
Yes, 1 minute, and then the breakout rooms will be created.
Okay, no worries. Everybody having a good day today? Yeah, okay. Yeah, a little busy for us. We're at one program, left early, hop into this program, and then right after this, we're hopping to another program. So we're actually busier than we normally would be if we were sitting in our offices on campus. So, which is a good thing. We enjoy it, but yeah, it's seems like our time never stops. So.
That is so true. That's how it is nowadays, just jumping in from one Zoom to another with maybe 5-10 minutes in between. And those 5-10 minutes did a lot when we were in person, and now they seem like they go by super quick.
Yeah, it was March, wasn't it? And we all went home and started learning how to do Zoom, and now we're back to school in the fall, and just things that pop up on the news and you're just like, wait, that was how long ago? Or like, time, I don't like this. I want to be back in person. I want to work with people in person than being on Zoom here, because it just, time flies, and I'm only getting older, so that's never a good thing.
All right, I think we're ready. So are folks ready?
Cool, perfect, thank you. So we'll see you all back here after we spend about 15 minutes with our smaller groups.
Hey folks, I just wanted to touch bases. Are both the interpreters in the same room, room 2?
Oh, I just saw your message. No, but would it be best for both interpreters to be in the same room?
I think so.
Okay, so let me move the other interpreter. Thank you for letting me know.
No problem.
Okay, just moved.
If you had me as a host, would you be able to go into the breakout room?
Yes.
But would it remove the breakout rooms from in general?
I don't think so. I think it'll just continue where we left off. Should I do that?
That, or if you want to just go into the breakout room.
Because I can choose to go into one of the rooms.
Go to one and then bring us back in 20 minutes.
20 minutes. Okay. So like 45.
You're gonna notice when to bring us back.
Okay. Because I put Chris and Tim in separate rooms.
Okay, good. Yeah, you're gonna know when to bring us back.
Okay, so let me join a room.
Janae is in. Janae. I'm going to ruin it. I'm sorry. Terrible pronunciation.
It's Janae.
It's Janae. Thank you. Thank you. And then we're going to keep these hidden, Anonymous Wolf. Nice. Perfect. If you're having some trouble with the Google Doc, that's A-okay. What you can do is you can use the chat feature in Zoom, and you can type your answer in there when I give it to you. Nice. We're all figuring it out. Zoom is weird. The virtual world is weird because all of a sudden we got to figure out new strategies to communicate. And sometimes we have cool tools like Google Suites at our disposal. So not in person, but we still have some ways of communicating. So what's going to happen is I'm going to pull a question into this column B right here. And what I'm going to have you do is in your column, you're going to type your answer to that question. As you type in your answer, we're not going to hit enter until I say go. That way we can see them all populate up at the same time. Again, so I'm going to pull a question over. We're going to type an answer in our box, and then we will have a second to discuss and see just who's in the room and who's got some interest that might align or not align with us. Are there any questions before we start? Feel free to put them in the chat, or you can unmute yourself.
Chris, I just joined. Oh, thank you. Someone just dropped the link.
Oh, perfect. Thank you for resharing that. Nice. All right. Without further ado, I am going to keep hiding these questions. Someone is a little antsy, so I was trying to jump ahead. We're going to start with, what fast food restaurant has the best fries? This is where you really get to know someone. So again, in your column, type your answer, but please don't hit enter until I say go. And I'm going to highlight our one that we'll use. All right, fast food place has the best fries. On 3. Ready? We got it down. 1, 2, 3. Hit enter on there. And we got some Wendy's representation. Bam, piece of cake. We all figured it out. All super easy. Would anyone like to unmute and make a persuasive argument around what Rally's is and why they have the best fries? Or if anyone wants to passionately argue their position, feel free to.
Hello, I would like to go first.
It's me, yeah.
Well, I really like Astro Burger fries because it just tastes all natural. It doesn't taste kind of like it was frozen, like how it is in these other fast food restaurants. And plus, it's not hard, or they don't put too much salt on it, and I love it.
I'm convinced. I gotta try it now. Any arguments for or against? Solid, awkward pause. Moving on to our next question. I'm going to go ahead and drag out down on row 14. What is your most useless or your hidden talent? Whichever way you'd like to interpret that question, let us know. And I know where the Wendy's fry lovers are. Bam, me and Jeremy would get along already. Done. That's it. And Brian's not sure. I just saw that McDonald's question mark. All right. Most useless or your best hidden talent? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hit enter on there. Oh. Not a lot of talents yet. We're gonna have talents.
Our talents are so hidden that nobody's going to learn anything about them.
Does someone want to share from our 2 respondents? And then Bryant, I'm going to ask that you definitely share because I'd like to learn a little more about that.
So, as a college student, I've enjoyed my time a lot, and I've discovered.
Please keep no, please keep going. I'm just playing.
That the mornings after good times, I can projectile vomit, and it's pretty cool if you ask me. But yeah, I can be walking around and puking and keep on walking, and that's pretty fun if you ask me. But the best part is I don't feel sick. So yeah, it's a pretty dope hidden talent if you ask me, and the best part is that it stays hidden until I want it to.
What's your secret, Bryant?
You know, I don't even know.
That is the first time I've seen that talent.
Secret sauce right there.
Very cool. Yeah, very unique. Does anyone else have a hidden talent that they want to share? All right, I'm gonna have to get a better question that might be a little easier for us to answer. Hit me with, what is your guilty pleasure movie? Like you're not super proud of liking it, but at the same time, you've watched it way too many times. We're quarantined, we're sheltered at place. No one has to know that you've watched it 14 times since we've been quarantined. All right, a couple more seconds to think of it. I'm gonna get myself a column too. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Hit enter. Oh, there's some super good ones on here. Nice, nice, nice. Someone pitch me. Someone just open up. Let it out. You've never told anyone this before. Guilty pleasure, hit us with it. I don't know what Duck Soup or The Internship is. Or Critter.
Critter is like top tier Gremlins. So.
Wait, it's better than Gremlins?
If by better you mean probably graded as a worse movie, yes.
That was my interpretation of it,
Yes.
so thank you.
Actually, I love Critters.
Critter is amazing. Yeah.
It is.
I have a print that I got for my partner that hangs on in our like staircase wall. Instead of family portraits, we have like horror art, and it's a BB-8 with a critter coming out of him. So for those of you who have actually seen Critter, you can imagine what that looks like.
Awesome. What is Duck Soup? I don't actually know what Duck Soup is. I've never heard of that.
Well, I did post the cheesy one, but my actual favorite one would be Shaun of the Dead. Because I just love the comedy mixed in with the horror.
We got a horror group here. Oh, keep going.
And I also watch it, especially when I'm doing my homework, so that it'll keep me up to not fall asleep on my math homework, especially.
Nice. Anyone else want to share their favorite?
Duck Soup is a Marx Brothers movie, and it's a political humor thing. So it's actually kind of neat, and it was made in the 30s, and it became famous in the 60s with the hippies. So it's kind of an interesting thing for political reasons, but it's Marx Brothers. It's silly, real quick-witted kind of humor.
I like it. I'm into it. All right, let's do one last one, and we got to go to our next activity. This is the longest worded question over in row 12. If you could be an animal for one day, what animal would you choose to be? Row 12. Just one day is all we're talking. We got to go quick because Tim is yelling at me to get back in there. Ready on 0, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Hit enter on there. Why to so many
Why
of
would y'all
these?
pick a cat? Really? A cat? Come on, y'all.
For what?
So many cats. One of the cats. Defender Isaac Michael's questioning your catness.
I chose a cat because, you know, I would love to run up a tree and just watch people walk by. Or
I love the
like,
honesty.
I love the and like I have a cat right now and she could actually jump from one place to the next at far distances. And that's what I want to do and not be afraid of it.
I like that a lot. We'll pick this up later, or you can pick it up later. I won't be here. But we got to go back and move on to our next little activity real quick. So we're going to leave this breakout room in the bottom right corner, big blue option, and I will see you all in the main room.
Going down the 405 right now.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's our IT guy has his truck, picture of his truck in front of the Oviatt, and then he'll be talking to you and he'll be like, oh, someone hit my truck, and then he'll flip his screen and then his truck will be upside down and his coffee cup that was in his cup holder will be laying on top of his ceiling of his car and he'll be upside down. So, I mean, people are having a good time with this. So
Getting real creative with it.
cool. So I'm going to pass this over to Chris so he can run you through this next activity.
All right, we're starting to know a little bit more about each other in that short time. But the next activity that we're going to do is a whole group activity called Make It Count. And the way this is going to work is I'm going to first politely ask if the host could allow me to share my screen. But we as an entire group are going to count from 1 to 23. Or actually, I'm going to ask if you want to participate in this activity, if you don't mind turning on your camera, it'll be a lot easier. This will be a challenge by choice. You definitely don't have to if you don't want to, but if you'd like to participate, you could turn on your camera, please. The way this is going to work, as a whole group, we are going to count up to a specific number. I got to actually do some quick math and figure out what we need to count to. We're going to go in sequential order, and every person is only going to say one number one time. So if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and your number is 6, you cannot speak again for the rest of the round. Only one person can say a number at a time. If 2 people speak at the same time, we're going to have to restart. If we go in the wrong order, we're also going to have to restart there. So again, we're counting from 1 to about 23. Each person is going to say one number one time, and if we mess up, we're going to have to start over. I'm going to stop sharing this screen. I'm going to ask if there are any questions, and I'm going to check the chat right now. Oh, if your computer does not have a camera, you can still absolutely participate using the chat or using your microphone.
So do we know what our number is, or we're having to spontaneously take a number on our own?
We're going to have to spontaneously take a number as you count up to 23. 23 is going to be the number. I like all these ideas that are in the chat right now. What's going to happen if we don't have any other questions for me? I'll leave that one open-ended, Kingston. I'm going to put 2 minutes on the clock. Oh, that's another good question, Freddie. I do not know. I'm going to put 2 minutes on the clock for you all to strategize. You can strategize, mic on, mic off. You can strategize in the chat, but I am starting my timer right now. 2 minutes to create a strategy to count to 23. Ready, set, strategize.
Okay.
All right,
Kingston,
here we go.
what is alpha order? I'm not familiar with that.
Alphabetical order.
Alphabetical?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or I could just assign everybody their number.
Because otherwise, all the co-hosts,
That's
yourself
cheating.
and all the co-hosts show up at the
That's
top.
not cheating, that's a
so
strategy.
You're out of order.
That's very true. Yes, let's do it.
I didn't hear any strategies, but let's do it.
Let's do what, Freddie?
I heard someone say that we will all get assigned a number. Was that you, Isaac?
No, I said I could just assign everybody a number.
Oh, go for it, Doctor. Yeah, go for it.
So,
Based on your list.
Puts
so
it
I'm
all on
looking, I'm
Dr.
looking at
Scott.
them in the order on my screen.
Okay.
So Monica, you're 1. Stephanie, you're 2. Raven, 3. Shelly, 4. Isaac, 5. Nicole, 6. Janae, 7. Jesus, 8. Is Chris playing? No. Jessica, 9. Bryant, 10. AS interpreter, are you playing? Nope. Candace, 11. Kingston, 12. Freddie, 13. Audrey, 14. Richard, 15. Jonathan, 16. Mark, are you playing? Mark, 17. Teresa. Mark, what was your number? 17?
Yeah.
Jasmine, 18. Brianne, 19. Jeremy, 20.
We're almost at 2 minutes.
Almost out of time.
That's all that I have on my screen, and I'll be 21. So I don't have 23 people on my screen.
That should work.
1, 2, and 3 should do the 22, 23. You
But
can't
after I
really
speak, I
speak
can't speak again.
I'm going to stop our strategizing session.
Ooh.
We're going to do a quick adjustment. We only need to count to 22 now. We got participants coming and going, but please begin.
One,
2,
3,
4,
5,
6,
7,
8,
9,
10,
11,
12, 13,
14,
15,
16,
17,
18,
19.
20,
You went twice.
I'm gonna ask us if we could please restart.
I think we have a different. Serena, are you playing?
I think everyone else knows what's going on.
And then I think somebody spoke. Brianne, did you speak, but we couldn't hear you?
Yes, I said 19.
Yeah. Brianne is apparently standing outside and her computer's inside.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can pull my computer closer.
This is good.
So are we counting? Serena, are you playing?
Sure. I don't know what we're doing, but sure.
So we're counting sequence 1 through 22, and you're number 22. So you'll hear all the numbers go, and you'll go last. I'm 21. You'll be 22. So start over.
Yes, please.
All right. What? 2.
1.
3.
Dr. Rilla's just left. She was 4.
5.
6.
7.
8.
9.
10.
11.
12.
13.
14.
15.
16.
17.
18.
19.
20.
I said 19. I'm not sure if you guys heard me again this time, but I did.
21.
22.
Super impressive. Super impressive. That was a big group. I didn't think we'd be able to do it, but I'm wildly impressed. What I'm gonna do right now is, we don't have, Jessica, do you know if we can share whiteboard screens?
I don't think we have that function.
We took it off.
Yeah, we took it off.
Oh, got it. That is A-okay. Real quick, in the chat, or just by unmuting and saying right now, what did that teach us about communicating with Zoom? Because this is gonna be our way of communicating for the entire semester. That might have been a silly little activity, but we know there's something deeper going on underneath. What did we learn about communicating through Zoom? Use the chat or unmute yourself.
Listen to what your elders say.
What I've learned is that even though we're virtual, we still can interact with each other. And I just feel like I probably have gone a lot closer. Like, I'm a part of the National Federation of the Blind, and they do everything through Zoom, well, since the start of the pandemic. And I just feel so much closer to a lot of the members, and they became like my family, my extended family.
That's really cool. Thank you so much for sharing. That's a great other perspective to the benefits of this. It's easy to say, oh, we're remote, we're not on campus, it's all bad. But that's a cool, thank you for sharing all the good things that can come out of this. Other folks, what we learned about communicating with Zoom.
Audrey had her hand up.
Please, Audrey. Yeah, thank you, Scott.
Thank you. I typed it in too. I wrote, we have to be patient sometimes, and that goes with what Mark just shared. Sometimes some folks have wobbly connections, so we just have to wait for a minute sometimes.
That was awesome. I can already tell this group is equity-minded. We're already looking out for each other. Serena came in and we were immediately helping out. Folks didn't have a camera and we were finding ways to get them involved in the chat. Super. Thank you for pointing that out, Audrey. Other things, other takeaways.
Stephanie.
Yeah, sorry. Was someone gonna go?
You have
Oh, no, I was just gonna say, like, on that point. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's really about like someone had to, like, Dr. Scott had to take kind of like the little bit of the lead. So I think it is like there is going to be situations in Zoom where like you have to take the lead or take the initiative, or someone else takes the initiative and you have to kind of like follow them just to make sure it like all works out. Also, like, yeah, you know, being adaptable, things are changing quickly, people are coming in and out. So Zoom is really teaching us to, for me, it was a big lesson because I'm like, oh, I have my days planned out and I like everything to go according to plan. But Zoom has really taught me that, like, you have to adjust a lot of that. And there's going to be things that are going to happen, like internet issues and things like that.
Thank you. Any last thoughts, takeaways, applications, things you want to share? All right, this awkward pause. I'll mess up Freddie's schedule.
Them old folks sure know what they're doing.
I think is that at you, Chris?
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. All right, well, that's all the time that Tim and I have today. I appreciate you playing along with our super duper accelerated version, but we've got a whole bunch of these different activities, and we'd love to come back and play more, or if you have other clubs and organizations, we can do a whole bunch of stuff. As we all get more proficient with Zoom, we all learn how to communicate through this modality, and we all kind of remind ourselves that we're still connected, we can still be successful in this virtual environment, and that there are a lot of good things that can come out of this, like Candace said. So thank you all for playing along. It seems like a really cool group, and I'm looking forward to the cool things that you all do this semester.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you all, and enjoy the rest of your time. So we'll see you later.
Thank you so much, y'all.
Yes, thank you so much to Tim and Chris, and thank you all for participating in today's activities. So as we continue our program, we will be transitioning into our faculty, staff, alumni, and student panel, where you'll have an opportunity to hear from various members of our CSUN American Indian community and our surrounding community. Our first panelist is Janae Ornelas, and she is the Education and Cultural Learning Department Director, Department Program Director for the Fernandinho Tatviam Band of Mission Indians. Her mother is of Tatviam and Mexican descent. Her father was a Spaniard, Filipino, and Mexican descent, and she is an alumni from California State University, Northridge, and is also a member of the Tau Sigma National Honor Society for transferred students.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Janae Ornelas, and just want to say thank you guys for inviting me to this wonderful event. You guys have always been so kind to me. It's great to see some familiar faces and some new faces. I love working with you guys, and so if you guys need anything else, include me, please. Let's see. So I wrote a speech, but I forgot my bio said everything. But I did graduate from CSUN in spring 2019. I was a transfer student, and just my educational journey background, I did attend a lot of different community colleges, and I never thought getting into a university was possible for me. But then I got accepted to CSUN, and at CSUN my major was child and adolescent development, and my time at CSUN was really rough. Just like a quick story, my father was going through cancer. Working here, it's full-time, it's a lot of work, but I love it because I'm able to work with youth. And then at the end of it all, I got accepted to the Tau Sigma National Honor Society for transfer students, which not a lot of people know about. But if you keep up your hard work with your grades, you know, your hard work does pay off. And you know, I do want to say thank you to Raven, who included me into the ASA group. You know, I love you guys. And Scott, you know, you're awesome. I love working with you. And there is Jesus, who's in this panel, and he actually helps with financial aid. So if you guys have any questions, definitely go to him, because he had helped me a lot. And while you're at CSUN, I do recommend that, like, no question is stupid. There's help out there. There's very kind people out there too. And if you guys ever need anything with me and like working with the tribe, definitely contact me. Do you guys have any questions?
Awesome. Thank you so much for telling us a little bit more about yourself, Janie. Our next panelist is going to be Dr. Nicole Blaylock. Dr. Nicole Blaylock recently joined the American Indian Studies program this fall as an assistant professor. She received her PhD in school and organization and educational policy from UC Davis and a master's degree in Native American Studies, which I learned that she did both at the same time, which to me was like, wow, you know, I think that that's a really big thing, and it's a really big inspiration. In addition, after receiving her PhD, Dr. Blaylock was a postdoctoral fellow in the Mary Lou Fulton Teachers College at Arizona State University, where she also worked in a nonprofit in the nonprofit sector, administering grants funded through the National Endowment for the Humanities. Her research mainly includes education, mental health, government policy, and art and popular culture from the American Indian perspective. She has authored and co-authored articles in various journals, including in the Journal of American Indian Culture and Research and the International Journal of Diverse Identities. Dr. Blaylock also explores issues of identity, decolonization, the politics of contemporary society, through both scholarly and artistic practices informed by her mixed heritage. As a descendant of the Crow, Cherokee, Chickasaw nations, and of Danish and English immigrants. So I'll pass it over to Dr. Blaylock.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, everyone, for having me here today. So just to tell you a little bit more about my background, I grew up mainly on Cow Creek, Umpqua, Tolowa, Dini, and Tututni homelands, which is Southern Oregon, which unfortunately is one of our places that is being devastated by fires right now, in the many fires that are happening on the west. So I come from a really small rural area. Also, you know, college felt like something that was very far away and very difficult to attain for me. But somehow I find myself here with all of you. I am learning a lot of things about CSUN, being new faculty, but I am definitely here to support all of you and to learn answers to questions if I don't know them myself when you come to answer them. So thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Ryan, you're on mute.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing a little bit more about yourself, Dr. Blaylock. We appreciate you being here and taking time. Our next panelist is Raven Freeberg. She's a recent graduate of California State University, Northridge. She received her degree in English literature and graduated with a minor in political science and American Indian Studies. She is a citizen of the White Earth Mississippi Band of Ojibwe and is a community organizer, college graduate, poet, friend, and family member. Raven is a former foster youth, first generation raised in Tongva lands, and she loves writing and beading. So without further ado, I'll let Raven say a few words about herself.
What's up, everybody, or bonjour. Yeah, I'm a recent graduate. I forgot to write that I'm Wolf Clan. I feel like my time at CSUN has given me like so much confidence in a sense, because I was never one of those students that was like a model. Like nobody would like go to me for things, but CSUN really like recognized me for like the once in my life, if that makes sense, and like gave me like the confidence to like do the things I'm kind of doing now, if it makes sense. Like, all right, now I'm like here, I'm enrolled at the Tribal Community College for free to take, to learn my language. So I've been like doing stuff like that. And I feel like overall, like the CSUN community, like it's something I could literally feel comfortable going back to, talking to the people. Like it wasn't like especially with the American Indian like community, like here at CSUN, like I'm able to like literally go, I talk to like a lot of the people that I've met at CSUN like every day, or if it's not every day, it's like, it's not weird to get back in contact with them. But I feel like CSUN, unlike any other university that I've even like encountered with or worked with, like they give you like a chance when no one else kind of does. Like I was a former foster youth, like a brown kid, like, I don't know, all these things that like I didn't know stacked up against me, but CSUN was like, what's up? like, let me put you in a position where you could make a difference. And I actually feel like I don't know how to explain it. Like, I'm so happy to be an alumni from CSUN. Even if I get my PhD from somewhere else or my grads, I'm gonna still rep CSUN because they're the real ones.
Thank you so much, Raven. We appreciate your words of enthusiasm and support for our wonderful university. Next, I would like to present our co-host and my co-chair for the American Indian Student Association. Stephanie will also be joining us as a panelist. And she's a first-generation, fourth-year student, majoring in Chicano Studies and minoring in American Indian Studies. As I mentioned, she's my co-chair for American Indian Student Association and the treasurer for Revolutionary Scholars. She also serves on the USU Board of Directors as chair of the Diversity and Inclusion Committee and as a member of the Commission on Diversity and Inclusion for CSUN. Outside of CSUN, she is a danzante with the Danza Mexica Canoga Park, an Aztec dance group that focuses on fighting for social and racial justice. Her hobbies include making earrings, beading, and roller skating. If you would like to say a few words, you may do so now, Stephanie.
Thank you. Hi, y'all. Yeah, that's just a little bit about myself. I just wanted to share that Raven has been one of my biggest, I would say, mentors, or, you know, because, or femtors, because it kind of came as like a natural relationship, but honestly, I owe a lot of what I've learned to Raven, and I appreciate her for guiding me in my journey as well. But yeah, I feel like CSUN has really been a place kind of where Raven was talking about that gives a chance to students and voices who sometimes aren't highlighted on campus and sometimes don't have that seat at the table when it comes to being in things such as part of like policy changing, or recently I was appointed to the Commission on Diversity and Inclusion for all of CSUN. So that was something really big for me to know that I can represent, you know, these communities and my communities in those positions, because there's a lot of times that, you know, students from our committees don't make it there and don't make it to be able to be a part of those conversations. So that's just something that I always hope to do, is to bring whatever concerns my community or the communities that I care about have, and bring them to the table and make sure that they're heard. And I think CSUN just keeps doing a more and better job at it as time goes on.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. We appreciate your words. We would also like to introduce someone who will not be on the panel, but we do want to recognize and acknowledge and thank for being here either way. Perhaps we will let her introduce herself a little bit better, but without further ado, we would like to acknowledge and thank Dr. Gallegos for being here with us. I don't know if you would like to say a few words.
Sure, yeah, I was just going to put something in the chat because unfortunately I do have to go to another meeting, but thank you all so much for having me. This has been really great. And I just wanted to mention that I'm in the Communication Studies department, so I don't know if we have any students who are interested in communication studies or who are interested in the type of research that I do. I study health communication, and particularly I look at how cultural values impact health among underserved populations. And so, you know, if anyone is interested in that kind of research, please feel free to reach out to me. But other than that, I didn't prepare anything formal, but I did just want to sort of put that out there. And if anyone would like to reach out, please feel free to do so. And I'm excited to be a part of this group, and I'll be involved in other activities throughout the semester that are going on as well. So thank you all so much for having me.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Gallegos. I'm just going to jump in real briefly, just to help Brian moderate, since Steph will be one of the panelists. But really briefly, my name is Jessica. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and I'm the Diversity and Inclusion Operations Assistant at the USU. I'm really glad to be here and share space with you all. I'll introduce our next panelist, Jesus Alvarez. Our panelist is Jesus Alvarez, Fernandeño Tatavian, who serves as a president of the Tatavian Land Conservancy. Mr. Alvarez obtained a BA in education in 1993 and spent his career after college working in early childhood education. He currently serves as a financial aid administrator for California State University of Northridge. As a lifelong resident of the San Fernando Valley, Jesus volunteers with various educational programs for the Tatavian tribe groups throughout the San Fernando Valley. Jesus loves the land and enjoyment of the natural world led him to become a member of the TLC. Through its work, Jesus would like to increase understanding of California's native flora and to preserve it for future generations by developing programs that promote the use of locally native and regionally appropriate plants throughout the Tatavian homelands in projects as small as personal gardens or as large as regional commercial projects. He is a member of the California Rare Fruit Growers and California Native Plant Society. Jesus spends his weekends gardening, grafting, and practicing other horticultural techniques. It is common to be given a plant he has grown from the seed. So welcome, Jesus.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for inviting me. So I'm born and raised in San Fernando, so I feel honored to be in the panel. I work in the financial aid office, so really if we were in person and you had to come to the counter and talk to somebody, I'd be the one you'd be seeing. So I am, even for practical purposes, if you need help with financial aid, and I've helped some students or people who've already spoken, I've helped them with their financial aid. So I'm a resource for you. But also, just as you look around in the mountains, and just know that it's our land, but I'm glad that you're here to share this with us. And so it's just developing as a student and just communicating with everybody. It's really special to make these connections because they'll be with you all your life. And from moving out from your high school to just become a student, it's such a new kind of a scary experience, but we're here. It's enjoyable to kind of learn and grow together. And so I welcome you to our land. And also, and just kind of an added little bit here. Part of even honoring the land and taking care of it, there's the tribes that do controlled burns. So you wouldn't have forest fires like this because you were able to kind of manage it. So even as evident as today, we can just smell the smoke right now. Those things don't have to happen. And so even me being part of our land conservancy, as we get land, we'll hopefully be able to purify and cure our land where we don't have to go through these such extremes. But again, I'm happy to be here. If you need help with financial aid, I'm the one you're going to talk to. So I'm always here for you. That's it.
Thank you so much, Jesus. We appreciate it very much. And last but not least, is the last member of our panelists is Dr. Scott Andrews. He's the director of the CSUN American Indian Studies program. Dr. Andrews is a citizen of the Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma. He teaches American Indian literature in the English department, and in AIS, he teaches Introduction to American Indian Studies and American Indians in Popular Culture. He has served CSUN for over 20 years. Dr. Andrews has published various book reviews, essays, fictions, and poetry. And he also serves on the editorial boards for 2 academic journals, Studies in American Indian Literatures and Transmotion, a journal of postmodern indigenous studies. He also serves on the board of American Indian Scholarship Fund of Southern California. Without further ado, Dr. Andrews.
I don't know where you got that awful photograph of me. I know I took it, but I didn't know I shared that with anybody. I learned something about Jesus just now, about his experience and interest in gardening and plants, and that can come in useful, I hope, in, recently we had the first sort of university land acknowledgement when the president recognized the Tataviam in the convocation. And I know that I've included that land acknowledgement on the American Indian Studies website, and hopefully other websites on campus will start to do the same. We'll start to see that happen more often. But part of that proposal that I made to the president's office included some actions other than just words. And one of the actions I'm hoping them to do is to create some indigenous plant zones on campus. And so far they've seemed receptive to that. So I'll have to hook up Jesus with that effort, especially with Nat Zapia, who's in sustainability, because I'm hoping to sort of get sustainability behind that plant zone idea. So Jesus, I'll try to hook you up with some people at CSUN so we can work on those indigenous plant zones around campus with signage that explains what the plants are, etc. One of the issues we face in American Indian Studies, one thing we talk about in classes is invisibility, that American Indians are frequently invisible to the general population. That doesn't mean they're not present, it just means the general population isn't aware of them. And so the example I use for my students is if you look on the website for CSUN and you look up demographics of students, you'll see, white students, Latina students, African-American students, et cetera. Frequently, there'll be no column for Native. They don't appear in the demographics. Some of that is just because the numbers are so small, but they still get erased. And so when we think about like who's here today, there are some Native students here, and that's great, but there's far more Native students at CSUN than are here today. And we need to find ways to reach them and let them know we're here and let them know there's services for them, there's fun to be had, there's friends to be made, there's things to learn, there's ways to grow. And that has been a struggle since I have arrived here, is getting that word out. Every year when someone's a senior and a Native student, they tell me, "Oh, I never knew you guys were here." And they've been here for 3 or 4 years. I'm like, but we have the powwow, we have other events. It's just, it never seems to be enough. So one of our goals always is to get the students involved in getting the word out. And I know that, Bryant and Stephanie they've got the Instagram skills. They're good at organizing events. And so hopefully we can get the word out even more this year. And events like this welcoming, this is the first time to do this. And so it's great. And hopefully we do it some more. And hopefully when we're back on campus and we get to actually see each other again, we can have events like this. We can have, hopefully eventually we even create a kind of a summer bridge program for Native students where they're here for a week or so on campus before the semester begins. That would be new for us. That would be something we could partner with Janae's office perhaps in creating some programming for Native students in Southern California, Native students in Los Angeles. There's just a lot of work to do, but there's a lot of exciting stuff to do. One thing that's new for us this semester is that for the first time ever, American Indian Studies has offered 7 classes this semester. When I first arrived in 2000, we offered 2 classes each semester. And we've grown steadily. And then this year, for the first time, we have 7 classes, and they're all full. That's all good funding. That's all the product of having like a new faculty member and Dr. Blaylock. And that's all from the hard work that the students have done before. So hopefully we can build on that. And that makes us actually, I don't want to say a big program, but one of the bigger programs in the CSU in terms of the number of Native Studies classes. Humboldt State's probably the biggest. And then we're up there with Long Beach in the number of those classes. I don't know how many San Diego State offers, but we're probably up there with them too. So there's a lot of really cool stuff. And also another shout out to the Tatavium as they work closer and closer to federal recognition. And when that happens, we get to be there kind of at ground level with them and helping them build up that. Those efforts, they've been fighting that fight for 20 years. Well, longer than that, actually, 150 years since the 1850s, when the Treaty of Tejon was signed and then forgotten. But they're just right on the cusp of recognition, and so we're really excited for those opportunities of when that happens. And my gratitude to the interpreter for keeping up with us.
Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Andrews, and thank you to all our panelists who shared a little bit about themselves. We thank you all for being here. For this next portion, we really wanted to be as interactive, so if folks have questions, please feel free to insert it in the chat box or mute yourselves or raise your hands. But we're actually going to go ahead and pose the first question. So this is open to any of the panelists, so please feel free to jump in. So the first question is, how has your identity or intersectionality of identities impacted the work that you do and its relationship with our American Indian student population?
I think Raven, I'm going to volunteer Raven to answer that.
Okay, so dang. Well, I've always grown up knowing I was Native and like my mom telling me, but then like the government came in and kind of like stole me. And for a long time I blamed that on I really did kind of blame my mom, you know, for like my disappearance and not being present in her life. But she like every way she always was there and trying to tell me I'm Native, even when I didn't believe it myself, because like I went to a school where like I was one of 2 natives there, and I always believed that natives didn't live in cities, and all these things that like just made sense to me because I wasn't living that like native life. But then I got to college and I wanted an easy A. So I took American Indian Studies 101 thinking, you know, in high school, whenever we talked about American Indians or, you know, just anything, they'd be like, Raven, you know, or like they would talk about like the past and like stuff that wasn't even related to my tribe. And then I took that class and it like opened my mind because it was a lot of the stuff my mom was already telling me. But you know, when your parents tell you something and you just kind of like, oh, you're kind of exaggerating, like, you know, like there's no way that happened. So it was a big wake up call for me. And then that's what kind of triggered my work into American Indian Studies. And Scott also reached out to me when I was a freshman. He was like, oh, you listen, you're American Indian, like what's up, like come over. So like I feel like like they tried so hard to get me in, and I was like, for a long time I really didn't believe I was Native, even though like I'm literally like if you looking at my history, like my family history, like I'm literally like first generation. I'm the first generation who's half. Like all my other family members, they all had Native families, Native parents and stuff like that. And how like because of colonialism, I'm like only 25% because I'm descended from like 2 different bands of Ojibwe, which they separate. And to me, like those kind of discrepancies, like showed me like they really were trying to erase us. And me being in foster care was even the government actively now trying to take our power away. And so once I learned that, I wanted other people to know that too. And like I know there was a lot of other natives, especially at CSUN, who like kind of knew they were Native but didn't have the confidence to say so because of like colonialism tells them they're not, when it's like not the case. And I feel like it's just like there's a lot of things, but I forgot the second part of that question. But I think I kind of answered it.
Thank you so much for answering, Raven. I don't know if any of our other panelists might want to answer. Is there any other students or alumni that are on this panel that might have had associations with ISA or in general, or in general, if they can answer this question, we can give you all a minute to talk.
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and jump on a little bit. I think for me, definitely the whole journey with, you know, identity and intersectionality it's been a lot. But I think for me, mainly how it impacted the work that I want to do in my relationships to, you know, our American Indian student population and community. It really just, I think ASA is a space where you feel very welcome, and you have people who are willing to help you with anything from like, you know, an essay to learning how to apply it to something. And there are people who like kind of like what Raven was talking about, will reach out, will push you, will try to keep, you know, this communication. always, and it doesn't always have to be super structured. I think we function a lot in a way that's like natural community. You know, we have the casita, the American Indian house, and it was beautiful to just have people coming in and out of there, sharing food. I remember being in there, no one ate only for themselves. Like if they had food in front of them, they would offer somebody else. And I think that's really what being so part of an intersectional community and those identities, it teaches you community support. It also teaches you mutual aid, and it teaches you that really here in the university system, we need each other and we need to support each other, because a lot of times yeah, we all have, like, for example, Raven had connections to Dr. Andrews, had connections to other people that she knew, to Janae, you know, and she brings these people, she brought these people into ASA, and we were able to make relationships with them. So I think the most important thing was that knowing my identities and my intersections, I really knew that I wanted to be in community, and I think that's just mainly how it's impacted it and making it really community based and trying to bring like a family to CSUN. I think that's been how it's impacted me the most.
Thank you for sharing, Stephanie. We appreciate both y'all's answers and your input. With that in mind, if none of our other participants have any comments in this, we can move on to our next question. Cool. So how do you currently build, or how have you built community at CSUN? What are some steps our students should take when building community?
I'm down to answer that. I feel like in a lot of other schools I've worked with, I noticed that there's a lot of policing going on, like a policing of identity, which I feel like is a big problem in Indian country, to be honest with you. And I also feel like there's a lot of like cancel culture going on, and I kind of like those both things. I feel like are products of like straight up like colonialism, like especially the policing. So I feel like one way that we could help people like feel more welcomed or be more community is like understand like we like as natives, we all have been impacted by colonialism, so there might be some like missing pieces in our journey of knowing who we are as like indigenous peoples, and that's okay. Like literally that's like colonialism in work. Like if a native doesn't know who they are, it's like colonial work is like did its job, and that's like terrible for them to be like, okay, you can't identify as native because your family was killed off and they were like, you know, if you know the history, like, you know why a lot of natives like don't claim they're native, why a lot of natives like don't know who they are, because it's like colonialism is working. So like by people like reclaiming their identity, it's kind of like resisting it. And the more people, in my opinion, that claim they're indigenous, the world will be like revolutionized. And I just feel like accepting community and just understand the history of it is way more complex than what we are ever taught. And yeah, just be welcoming and be like you don't know everything, to be honest with you. So just like go in that with that mindset, like humility.
Thank you. I know that a big member of our community at CSUN is you, Dr. Andrews. You really help hold us together as an organization and as a department. Would you have any advice or any words that you would like to share in regards to this?
Well, like the thing I tell students about ASA is that ASA is open to anyone who's cool. You don't have to be native. And we have, and being native is a diverse category. There's not one way to be native. there's many ways to come to that identity and that community. And so some of our students know full well what their native background is, and they know about that history, and they know their res, they know their grandma lives on the res, they go back there. Some of our students don't know. They're just finding that out about themselves. And so I don't want those two different kinds of students to ever come in conflict with each other, and one feel like the other is more worthy of inclusion. And we don't get that policing in ASA that I've ever seen, where people try to tell each other, oh, you're not really Native, or you're not Native enough, etc. And we have students who are not Native at all, who are in ASA. One of our former presidents, one of our sort of most important alumni, Tim Belfield, he's not Native, right? But he was a president of ASA. He was a president of the Student Association. He was in that group to help revive the powwow. He did a lot of great things. There's other people who like me. I'm a citizen of the Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma, but I'm white expressing, right? My ancestry is mostly Caucasian. And so my Cherokee status is like a legal status. And so there's different ways that nativeness gets defined. And so it's not so much who you are as it is what you do. And so if you're down with your community and you help people out and you work for the betterment of your community, then that's what your inclusion is based on. And so I find that ASA students are real inclusive, and like Stephanie was talking about, if one eats, they all eat. If there's some food, they all share in the food. Our students are really generous with each other, really generous with fellow students, really accommodating of everyone's needs. There's a lot that we can learn from the students as faculty. And I learn all the time from students. And so one of the things I try to do is kind of help create a space for the students, and then let the students do what they need to do. The students know their needs more than I do, right? And so if I could just create a space where they can help meet their needs as they define those needs, then that's what I'm doing my job, right? And if I can kind of protect those spaces from the various machinations of the university, then that's my job too. And so that's what we try to do with the ASA House and the different activities we have, is to create those spaces where students can be students and students can meet the needs as they define them. And that's kind of a Native way to do things.
I feel like another thing, sorry, Bryant. I think like another thing is like I was talking about humility a little bit earlier, but it's like really like humbling yourself and like recognizing that like everyone comes from different places and that's okay. And like Native people, we need more allies than anything, because I bet you've all seen the stats on Native peoples around at least in the US, and I feel like the more people, the merrier.
Yeah, I think one of the points that Dr. Scott just brought up, it was a point that was brought up in my AIS 101 class that I just had with Dr. Blaylock. But there was a quote that said, you don't have to be Indigenous to be a good kin. And I think that really made me think about ASA and how we all, like you said, we really function in this kind of like community family structure, this kinship structure where we all take care of each other and care about each other. And you don't have to be Indigenous, and you don't have to be that far along in your journey where you're comfortable presenting yourself as an Indigenous Native person. And some people aren't. I know for me, sometimes, because my Indigenous ancestry does lie in Mexico, for me, that could be a little sometimes difficult to present myself as an Indigenous woman, because I'm like, it's kind of hard for me, since it doesn't translate sometimes. But that doesn't mean that I don't want to be part of the club. That doesn't mean that they aren't welcoming, and I think that was the best part, about meeting Raven and meeting other members in ASA. Like there are folks who have had that lived experience of being on a reservation and living that, but that isn't the only I guess valid Native experience. And that's really what ASA has taught me, that we also sometimes have experiences that collide even as Indigenous and non-Indigenous people. And I think that's where we create our alliances as well, and being like, oh, you went through that, I went through that. And sometimes you are Indigenous, like both people are Indigenous, but sometimes they're not, you know, but you find that common, kind of common ground in whatever you experienced. So I think definitely, I forgot what the question was. Oh, what some steps students should take to build community? I would say definitely reach out. I know it can be scary. For me, it was personally very kind of scary to come into ASA in the past, because I was like, whoa, you know, like I'm not American Indian, like I don't know if I can be in here. And even learning things that Raven would teach me, you know, like traditional things. At first I thought I didn't have like the right to learn them, but you know, after she explained to me that she could teach me these things and it was okay, and as long as it was always conducted with respect, and not, you know, not appropriating, just respecting and appreciating, I think it was just very beautiful. So kind of like let your guard down, I would say. It's difficult to do, but it's important in order to really build those strong relationships. I would, yeah, reach out, I would say, attend events, anything that like students see like, oh, I'm kind of interested in that, but you know, you feel a little weird about going. I would just say, try to overcome that and go. Try to reach out to a friend, even if it's a Zoom meeting, be like, hey, can you jump on a Zoom meeting with me? So I think that's some of the things that we could do in order to get more involved.
I wanted to touch on something Steph said. Like I feel like the reason I like teach people the things I do or what I can is because like I was taught that like the word I'll tell you kind of like a story. My aunt, I would tell her like, oh yeah, I'm Ojibwe, I'm badass, like I'm cool and stuff like that. She's like, you know what Ojibwe is, like, and I'm like, yeah, it's like, you know, the people who make moccasins. She's like, but you know what we call ourselves? Like, we call ourselves like Anishinaabe. And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, you know what that directly means? And she's like, it means human being. So like a lot of the teachings, they'll be like Anishinaabe teachings, but they actually translates directly to like human being teaching. So like, as like we're all kin because we're human beings. And like a lot of natives words, like they call themselves, like it means human being. So like it's just teaching you how to be a good human being. And like I said, like colonialism doesn't want us to know these, doesn't want other people to know these things because of how powerful they are and how they can really change the world. So I feel like I gladly teach these things to natives and even non-natives, or like people who don't identify natives, because it just shows you it's just teaching you how to be a good human being. Yeah, that's just my reasoning. So I feel like that's why I don't try to police knowledge unless it's like, oh, like something like very specific and like you have to be in that circumstance. I understand, but like there's a lot of things where it's just like, why are we policing these things? Like just like give more access to indigenous knowledge and then the world will be changed, truly, in my opinion.
The Cherokee is their official name, you know, the federally recognized name, and Cherokee is an anglicized version of Tsalagi, but the Cherokee called themselves the Anianwiya, which means the principal people, right? So it's like the Anishinaabe, it's the people is the name for themselves.
That's also why I'm learning my language, or like I feel like a lot of natives should try to learn their language, because it's like that's how we see the world, you know, and they took that away. They taught us only English, and we only know English because they want us to see the world the way they see it. So that's another reason why. So like if I hadn't known like Anishinaabe means the people, I would have just like been all like, oh yeah, what's up? I'm Ojibwe, I'm Anishinaabe, like I'm cooler than the Sioux. Like no shade to the Sioux. I have some Sioux in me, but we don't talk about that. No.
Never apologize for throwing shade on the Sioux.
Hide your dogs. No, just kidding.
Awesome. Thank you all for sharing. I'm looking at the chat and it's, you know, just a lot of really good feedback. Thank you all for sharing your insight. I do have a question for Dr. Blaylock. If you would wouldn't mind sharing, what is the most exciting thing you are hoping to gain from CSUN?
Oh, wow, that's such a big question. Okay. I so I'm going to tell a little story about back in February. Can you believe back in February we were all on campus? We were able to meet in person at that time. So in February, I came to campus and I got to spend lots of time with Raven. And also time with Asa, got to have dinner, share a meal, and talk. And between all of those interactions, all those conversations, those moments that I was able to share, I really saw this beautiful community and activist spirit among the students. And that truly was the thing that excited me so much about CSUN and really why I wanted to become a part of the community, because like so many others have shared here today, it's so important for us to build community together, for us to learn from each other and use those Indigenous knowledges to heal ourselves and heal the world. So, so that is what I am really excited about for CSUN, is being a part of that and being able to help you know, Asa and the students on their journeys of learning, and then being able to learn from them as they go through that as well. So yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. CSUN is very, very lucky to have you, and we're excited. This next question is for Janae. So what is some advice you would give students, regardless of where they are in their journey, about CSUN college life and thriving on campus?
Just based on my personal experience, because when I went to CSUN, I didn't really know anybody. But then, of course, later I found out that River, who was our UCLA tutor, is sisters with Raven. I met with Raven, and you know, if you ever need help, there is resources on campus. There are people that are there who are very kind. But as far as like with your education, get to know your professors, because like I mentioned earlier, you know, my father was really sick, and just communicating with my professors like, hey, like this is my situation, I want to be here. There may be times where I can't attend class, like I just want to let you know. That definitely helps, because professors will be willing to work with you. And you know, just I know like right now everything's virtual, but try to stay organized and designate a mental like break day, because even now, like for me working, I have to designate times where like not working, nothing, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna bead, or I'm gonna just watch a movie. Definitely take care of yourself, and you know, also reach out to your friends, because they may be going through something too, especially right now. And that's kind of something that I do with my students in my program. Some of them I have like their numbers, and I'm like, hey, like how are you doing? You know, it doesn't hurt. And also, if you know your families, call your grandma. My grandma calls me like once a week, and I know like everybody feels very isolated. I know it's like off of from the CSUN campus, but you know, just make sure your emotional and mental state, you know, your wellness, it's really important. And you know, not just to promote my department, but we do have cultural programming. So if you guys are interested, definitely send me an email, and I'll let you guys know. Because just to reflect on the first question, as far as like building community, with like the kids, with having programs in that platform for where the kids can meet in, even if it's just virtual, meeting together, it definitely builds that sense of belonging and community, because I never had that growing up. And when the tribe had this program, I started working here, and I love working with kids. So, you know, if you guys ever are curious about our programs, please reach out, and I'll keep you guys in the loop. Thank you.
I know that Mr. Alvarez, you are involved on CSUN through your work in the financial aid office. And I know that that's something that is very important. But I know that you are probably also well affiliated with other departments and other places around campus. Would you have any particular advice for some of the students that might be on here?
Well, I mean, it also working, it's a 40-hour job, so it's I come to work and I'm kind of at my office all day long. So when I go out, it's sort of in and out real quick. So I'm sort of guilty of maybe not knowing all those answers. But I mean, for practical purposes, it really, I mean, I am a necessity to students. If you're going to, about 70% of the students on campus are getting some sort of financial aid. So there's a very likelihood that you're going to communicate with me. So just on that basis alone, it's smart to talk to me. But even that being said, it is really just a matter of engaging people, and you realize that people are similar. And I think sometimes, especially now, we're so isolated, we forget that our friends and people that we will become our friends really do think and desire and want and just have needs that like we all have. And so much, it's nice to be obviously in our group, but I mean, I'm blessed to even share that I'm from the tribe, the local tribe, and I try to reinforce this by even telling people, when you look, even if you're at one of the buildings like on Sierra Hall, if you're at the very top level, you can see the whole valley. And it's like, I feel just really, again, blessed that I'm looking at my ancestral. They saw the same thing I'm looking at. And I'm like, I get to share that with you. And I think that's cool. And I'm also going to say, okay, you can do your taxes, give me your taxes, and I can give you financial aid. So I'm that guy for that too. But it's just, yeah, it's really just, it's healthy to be around each other and to really enjoy each other. So I encourage you that it's so profound and so deep, but you know, just meeting somebody that wants to encourage you. It's like, and when you engage people in departments or teachers, it's like they want to be here. And it's just like, that's inspiring just to know that people want to be somewhere. It's like, you know, you have friends because they like you. And one of the old jokes is your friends, your definition of a friend is someone who knows you and still wants to hang out with you. So, you know, if you have someone who really is interested and you're seeking that out because you're searching, you're young and you want to get those things, take advantage of that. Enjoy the people that are going to be here to support you. And I'm happy to do this. I've been doing this for 18 years. So it is enjoyable. It's always one of those things, working I'm a government agent, so that can be quirky and weird and awkward, but I'm here. And I would say, when Raven, I've seen you a lot, so I mean, you can back me up. We've enjoyed each other, and I've enjoyed other people. Just it becomes more human. It's not so lofty and out there. So if you visit me, I'll help you out.
Thank you so much, Mr. Alvarez. So with that, I would also like to follow up with you two, Janae and Jesus, particularly as considering your relationship with the Tatvium tribe. I would kind of like to ask how you might expand or expand on what's your relationship between the Tatvium tribe and how y'all might want to expand on that with the CSUN community or your own interactions with the CSUN community.
I can go first. Wait, can you repeat the question one more time? Sorry. Just how like I would expand to CSUN, like my.
Yes. So what is the relationship that you yourself have and you that you have and that you feel that the tribe might like to have with the CSUN community?
Okay. Well, I am a member of this tribe, and just from personal experience with working with the tribe and being a part of the tribe, we are very big into giving back to the community. So like I mentioned earlier, as far as with CSUN and ASA students, if you guys are interested in any of our cultural programs from our department, we'd love to have you guys there. I am also looking for cultural presenters, so if you guys are interested. But I do know that the tribe, I'm not in the ins with everything, but I do know like we have something coming up with CSUN. I just know that we're doing a PSA on Sunday. I'm not 100% sure what's going on, but we definitely have that the bridge, and then with the in the past we've had campus tours with the younger kids and bringing them in students and to like tie the college students to be like mentors for our youth. And that way, because like with my job, it's definitely native, you know, like you at a campus, and the kids love it. So I would definitely, even if it's virtual somehow, still have that program with CSUN. And then yeah, I mean, I'm still working on this next grant, so I'm trying to tie you guys in more. But yeah.
Thank you.
I think in my point, it just kind of touched on earlier. I mean, obviously being here, working on campus, there's an engagement with people. Dr. Andrews, you were talking about the plants, and I'm the president of the Land Conservancy, and so that means it's a nonprofit. So as we acquire land, the idea is to preserve land. So obviously we're standing on, well, hopefully not virtually, but literally we're going to be standing on land again. But to see native plants engage in that, I mentioned earlier too that even the harvesting and taking care of the land, you don't have to go through these tremendous forest fires. So you have people, that's even being beyond tribals. It's just the human interaction with the land and that giving back to you. It makes you healthy. So it's kind of lofty, but the tribe, it could be a focal point to show that there's, you know, like sage plants and oak trees. There's different things that are native to this area. And so if we can name those by the names that we knew them to be, it's just visually, you're just walking through the campus, you know you're on tribal land, and then that can do it. And then Freddie's been real helpful, and he's pulled me in to kind of help. And I know that forgive me, I don't know I forgot the formal title of it, but as they develop more of a central location, our name and kind of our history will be incorporated in that. So it'll be really physically evident that the tribe is from this area. So it's all coming up. It's obviously, this is the first of its kind, but as we kind of develop and grow out of this, it'll become more and more evident. But you know, as we're growing, this, you know, as a student, you're growing too. We're all, you know, we don't stop. We're just going on and on and on.
Thank you so much, Mr. Alvarez. We appreciate your time. Thank you for sharing these last few comments. So, believe it or not, we've been here for almost 2 hours, you know, enjoying each other's company and discovering more about ourselves and our surroundings. But before we close, we would like to maybe ask if you of our panelists have any last minute quick, you know, little send off tips so that we can wrap this up. If so, we would love to hear it now. If anyone has any comments.
Well, I want to thank the student union and the university for, you know, organizing an event like this and acknowledging the Native students in this way, and the programming that we have. It's sort of it's new for us to be acknowledged in that way. I think the university just across the board is doing a better job of consulting with either American Indian Studies or American Indian Student Association, or off campus with TAVIM when something comes up that's related to Native students, Native issues, Native land, etc. And so that's a nice change. And so I just want to thank Freddie and Jessica for helping to organize this. It's really helpful and meaningful, and we appreciate it.
I want to say like I don't know, I didn't imagine ASA would be growing and being as good as it is now. Like I literally was, the beginning of last year, I was really nervous that ASA was gonna die, but like literally Steph and Bryant like carried that legacy on, and like, you know, like, and I could see, like, you know, Isaac, I see you, I know you're gonna be part of ASA now. Like Isaac, I've been hanging out with Isaac for a minute too, and like it's cool like to see people like come back, or cool to see like like ASA growing, and it's like better than I could have ever imagined it. And I feel like Stephanie and Brian are gonna also like make it even better for like the future generations. And I feel like that's all I could ever have wanted. And like Jasmine Perez is here too, and she's pretty cool too. She's like such a great ally, and she always comes to ASA events, and I really appreciate her too. Yeah, like I don't know, this community is legendary, and I'll never forget it. And I'm really glad to still be an asset somehow, even though I'm an alumni. Like I'm so happy you guys like me enough to take me back.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for your words, Raven. I think that me and Bryant definitely, we wanted to continue that legacy that you left, because you did an amazing job last year and creating community and, you know, building what it is that we have now. So we definitely, what we wanted to do is just continue it. And all the club members, and everyone who's part of the board, you know, Julio, a bunch of people who, you know, we want to continue to have this community for more generations and continue for it to be bigger. Yeah, I think this event was amazing, and I thank you all for your energy and being here. I know Zooming can be tiring at times, but I think it definitely pays off. And it's always like about, you know, having these events, because like Dr. Andrews mentioned, you know, we didn't have this in the past. So it's amazing that we are having this, and I do hope that we continue to have more programming and more events to just draw in Native students here at CSUN, because like Raven said, we know they're there. It's just a matter of finding them and reaching out to them. My last comments, I guess, would just be like, don't be afraid to get involved. Don't be afraid to reach out. You all can always reach out to me or on the ASA Instagram. I am busy, but I try my best to be responsive and, you know, do everything that I can. So stay tuned. I think after I'll close with some, like an event that we're going to be having soon, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But my send off is just to try to get involved, stay connected. Even if you can't make it to a meeting, just sending an email, a text, just so we know that, you know, you're here and you want to continue being part of the community.
Yes, well, thank you all so much for participating. Thank you all so much for being here. To all these, all the participants and all the people that came along, we see you. We appreciate your presence. Jonathan, Patriarca, Jeremy, Hamlet, everybody in the cut, Isaac, we see you all. Brianne, all you, thank y'all for being here. Thank you for staying this whole time. Serena, Richard, Teresa, you know, even if you didn't, we weren't able to interact with y'all as much. Thank you for being here, and thank you for taking the time to make it out. Next, we will be presenting a quick little clip of what ASA is, and be letting you all in on an event that we have planned soon. And without further ado, we'll go ahead and play that. And of course, thank you so much to our panelists. Thank you so much to the panelists and to everyone that really took time to be here. I don't know if we still need a second for the video.
Yeah, just give me a sec.
No problem. But with that in mind, also, we would like to reiterate that there will be an event that ASA will be hosting on Saturday, September 19th. I believe the date, the time. Stephanie, could you remind me the time?
I think we're going to be having different sessions since it's going to be like an open house. So we're going to try to have different sessions to accommodate different people's schedules, and we're making it on a Saturday since we know a lot of students are zoomed out from the week, and we want this to be a little more laid back event, really fun and interactive. So it's definitely going to be like team building. We're going to have some activities planned led by different ASA members. So yeah, you can join us for all the sessions or just one session, or jump in and out. It's going to be a great event. We're going to be having some, virtual games. Also, I'm going to be trying, I'm hoping to be able to do a workshop of some sorts on beading or earrings. And I was going to ask Raven, I don't know what her availability is like, but I'll talk to you later about that. So hopefully just a little workshop, because ASA was really big on making things. Like we would participate in workshops learning shumashangs, or we made our gourd, Tatavim gourd with Mark, who was, he did the welcoming today. He taught us how to make the gourds. So we're always doing things, beading workshops, stuff like that. So I do hope to continue those things, even if it is virtually or in any capacity that is. So yeah, if you're interested in getting more involved and being in those activities, try to keep the 19th open, and we hope to see you there.
Thank you.
So ASA to me is, no, I'm just playing, I'll just play. So ASA to me is a space where I can make friends and have conversations about Native issues, as well as celebrate our own indigeneity. It's also a space where I can learn about the Native cultures of this land, as well as other indigenous practices and cultural practices.
Hi, my name is Anna, and I'm a member of ASA. What ASA means to me is being part of something bigger than just a club. They treat you like family, and they're willing to help with anything you need, whether it be personal or academic. They're always there to help you, just like a family, and they're very supportive.
Hello everyone, my name is Stephanie. My gender pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm going to be co-chair of ASA this year. I hope you have all had a great first week back. I know it might be a bit confusing and difficult due to the virtual setting. However, we hope that through clubs and organizations, you are able to find your community. What ASA means to me is a group of individuals who are very caring, dedicated, and involved in their community. Our club is open to any student who is interested in learning about Native American culture and issues in the Native American community. We hope different cultural and educational events. We hope to see you at one of our meetings.
Thank you so much, Jessica, for helping us out with that. And as we close this welcome back ceremony today, again, we would like to thank all the panelists, all the people that took time out to be here. Like I said, whether I mentioned your name or not, we see you and we acknowledge you, and we thank you for being part of today's event. First and foremost, we do want to thank Freddie Sanchez and Jessica for helping put this all together and leading the effort in getting this done. So thank you so much to everyone, and we hope to see you around. I'm excited to meet all of you, and I'm excited to work with you all. I hope that as we continue this journey, we can all grow and learn from each other. And I cannot emphasize enough how much we appreciate you all being here. Thank you so much, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day.
All right, y'all. Thanks. Take it easy.
Thank you. Thank you so much to everyone. I hope you all have a great day.
Bye, everybody.